Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And as always, we give peace and salutations unto the elect, the remnant, those coming back to the Most High in these latter days through the sacrifice made by Hamashiach and Yahweh Shai, all right, who sits on the right-hand side, and through whom we receive the Holy Spirit, Rachakwadash, in these latter days to stand on our feet, call on the names of Yahweh through Yahweh Shai, repent, and do what's needed to fulfill what is already written for us to do, okay? Because what's getting ready to happen is a transfer of power. See, the kingdom is getting ready to be translated to the Israelites under Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. And these devils can feel it, okay? These devils can feel it. Now, I'm sitting here looking at this video. I finished part one. At the end, it kind of cuts off, but I see that there's a part two. This video done by the Elder Apostle Ramlab, GMS Info Doc, Channel 12. Okay, the video is titled Little Hats, Gaslighting Hebrew Israelites. And the Little Hats are the 1948ers. If you ever see these people, they're walking around with these small little hats sitting on top of their head. And for years, they have went unchecked. Okay, and the narrative that they are the chosen people of the Heavenly Father in the fulfillment of the physical seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob returning to the land, okay, to set up what they call the state of Israel. Now, we know, according to prophecy, that that is a false narrative, and we know that through the Holy Spirit, which is something that would not come from this world. Now, the term gaslighting, as the apostle goes into in his lesson, all right, it says here, psychologists use the term gaslighting to refer to a specific type of manipulation, and that's what they are, all right, as they're manipulators. All right, where the manipulator is trying to get someone else or a group of people to question their own reality. And through witchcraft, you have particular Israelites who fall for it. You have an Israelite fall for it, the narrative that these people push. But the whole time he's telling you you're either a Hamite or an African American, okay, or some low level 3/5 of a human being, because that's what the pseudoscience of this world promotes. All right, of our people, that you are at the bottom, all right, because inherently you're stupid, all right, and that's really what it promotes. You look up things like the bell curve, all right, the whole intelligence quotient, low IQ narrative, and it's all predicated upon the fact that you so-called Negroes, especially, and the rest of the tribes as well, are ultimately subhuman beast. All right, that's why when Christopher Columbus and his cohorts came over here, these Christians, right, with the whole doctrine of discovery, using science, they came to the conclusion that the people there, all right, that were on the island, or what these particular places that were already inhabited, weren't people. They weren't human. They were another animal in the field, so they could then treat them as game, shoot them, kill them. All right, they deserve to be treated like shit. But these are the same people in these latter days who you're going to lean upon for your understanding. You think that after all of this, these lies and all of the hell they put on you, that in the latter days they're going to come with a narrative that's true for you? No. And they've been caught. And it's all through the Holy Spirit. Okay? And they want you to question the mere reality that you're witnessing, and the understanding that you're coming into in these latter days, and the fact that you are the Israelites. Okay, when you read this article by this small hat, okay, debunking, and they always want to go to the fact that we bring out the curses as if that's all we go to prove that we're Israelites. We go into various different things, okay? And these people haven't been prophesying. They don't go into the scriptures. Okay, they're not a light unto the world. Okay, they're not out prophesying the destruction of Babylon the Great and the coming of the kingdom of heaven. They're saying they are in their kingdom. Okay, amongst all sorts of folly. So in this article, we went into it earlier. Okay, this guy is just proud, man. Now I want to read this part of the article just to show you the pride, because, overall, the bottom line is this, this understanding that we have received did not come from any school or institution of this world. You see, it came directly from the heavens, and that's what these devils can't stand, because they're able to control the narrative, okay, through their school systems, through their seminary schools, as Apostle Tahar calls them, cemetery schools, because you learn nothing but death. It's not a living way, all right? Even Yahushua, when he came on the scene, okay, people were ultimately surprised at how he learned all he knew, not coming up under those particular, scribes and Pharisees and different men at that time who were the leaders of the people. Okay, he was taught ultimately by the Holy Spirit, and that's in the book of Isaiah, the 11th chapter. And what happened with Yahushua in spirit, we share through the Holy Spirit that he sent from on high. Okay, and what we teach and how we teach the Bible does not match up with the way that these preachers and these rabbis and all of these various different people teach. It's got a whole nother spirit to it, which was prophesied in the Holy Scriptures to happen. In the remnant, all right, even you brothers and sisters who are watching these videos being edified and built up, the videos done by the elder apostles, the bishops, the different brothers coming up and teaching the word through the Spirit, you were moved, all right, to repentance and to turn your life around through the words spoken of by those men through the Holy Spirit, not by any of the institutions or religions or churches of this world where they have these ordained pastors. It's the Holy Spirit that inspired you to turn your life around, put down idols. As the scriptures say in Isaiah, the 30th chapter, in the 20th verse, thine eyes shall see thy teachers. All right. And they would tell you a way to walk where you would throw away your idols and actually repent. You didn't have a sure foundation of the Holy Scriptures when you went to these churches. You were just, doing what you thought you were supposed to do, because in our spirit, we know that this is the book, but we didn't have proof, and we were going to hell off. And the breakdowns that we thought we had, and most of us didn't even go into breakdowns. We just heard particular stories. We listened to the pastor, and we, were at the church, wasting time, man. But anyway, here in these latter days, we're being set in order before his eyes, and he's pissed off. Now all of them are just coming out of the woodworks doing what this apostle is talking about, gaslighting. The little hats, they're trying to cause confusion to get you to question what's really happening around you, to question this great awakening that is happening through the Holy Spirit. Why is this happening? Everything that's happening on the planet Earth is written of in the Holy Scriptures. Where is this great awakening of Israelites? It's not written in the Scriptures? Absolutely it is. But these devils, through pride and the fact that they've controlled the narrative for so long, okay, they're not going to accept it. They're not created to accept it, first of all. So we understand why this guy did this article. Now, when you read this, it says here, one must note that the Jews as a people, and this is just him speaking in his pride. I mean, when you go into the article, he's using Yiddish. He's all over the place. Okay? But it's interesting, and it gives you something to go and cut, through the Holy Spirit if you're inspired to, because at the end of the day, he's calling us Africans. See? He's calling us Africans. And that's what they want you to follow, this narrative. Now, the so-called blacks in America are Africans. Don't you know who started that? Were two Jews by the name of Franz Boas and Melville Herskovitz. They're the ones who started the blacks in America are actually Africans movement, and that being taught in institutions and schools. They're the ones who are responsible for that. Then you go into these Bible dictionaries, okay, and they tell you that Ham was the son of Noah and the father of all of the so-called African races, but not the Negroes. So they know that we're not the same as, all right, the actual Hamites, okay? But our people are scattered amongst them, of course, all right? But they're still running with that, and our people are still running with that. There's no power in that. And there's no biblical nation known as Africans. But anyway, it says, one must also note that the Jews as a people are and have been the only people keeping the Torah. And here it is, he's boasting in the Torah. Okay, no mention of Yahweh Shai, and they're not keeping the Torah. And they don't never go into prophecy and explain why the Jews in prophecy, the true Israelites, and it wouldn't just be the Jews, because the Jews is just the southern kingdom, but in the latter days, the northern kingdom as well would be gathered with them, okay, in this great awakening. See, they don't explain all of that. They don't believe in the Messiah. When you go deep down into it, they don't believe in the Messiah. The majority of them don't. All right, some do, but the majority of them don't believe in Yahweh Shai. Okay, and they don't go into prophecies to link what's happening with them and how they got over there to that land to prophecy, because according to prophecy, we will be taken away from that land and scattered, but through the preaching of the word in the latter days, Judah, all right, the Jews, which are the southern kingdom, and Ephraim, the northern kingdom, would be brought together. They will be oppressed together in a particular land, and they will be raised up through the preaching of the word and brought back together, which is a fulfillment of the tabernacle of David. Another thing these small hats don't deal with, the tabernacle of David. Okay, they're into all of their thing. They're into their own thing, the state of this and the Israeli this and the this and that, and you got the American president saying Jerusalem is a capital. Do you realize what they're saying when they say that? They're basically saying this is a true government of Israel, which was only promised to happen again after Solomon's reign. It was only supposed to happen again under Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, who would establish the tabernacle of David, which they don't talk about. And here it is, he's boasting and keeping the Torah. You're not keeping the Torah, man. There's all sorts of madness going on over in Israel. Now, let's get this in Psalms 50 and 16, and we'll go back to what he was saying, if the Spirit permits. If not, just know that he's a proud devil, man. Okay, it says, but unto the wicked, Psalms 50 and 16, but unto the wicked, God said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Here it is. You're declaring the statutes of the Lord. We're the only ones who keep the Torah. We're the only ones eating kosher. All right, in which a priest, a ish priest, okay, goes and prays over some pickles. Now that makes it kosher. All right, but what types of weirdo activities is he doing in his daily life? Okay, we've already went into some of the weirdo activities they do, man. Look up the rabbis, the ish people in circumcising children with their mouths. That's one of many weird things. The Wailing Wall, where they're humping the wall. What custom does the Israelites have where they're crying to a wall and humping a wall? Which that goes back to Herod. Okay, King Herod, who was an actual person who lived. But anyway, but unto the wicked God said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth. And that's what they're doing. Now, the first covenant is done away with. But here it is, they're still boasting. We keep the Torah. Now, the Torah is the foundation of the Holy Scriptures. Don't get it twisted. But within that story, within the first 5 books, you find the covenant that was given unto the Israelites, and we broke that, which is why we're in this messed up condition. And here it is, when we finally get understanding of why we're in this condition, you're mad. But when we were running around, with all of this confusion and all of this mess, nobody had nothing to say. Now it's hate speech to tell the truth. All right, the CEO of YouTube is a small hat, right? And what has she done to attack gangster rap? What has she done to attack all of this whoredom that is promoted amongst our women? Huh? Nothing. That ain't got nothing to do with hate. That ain't moving people to do evil things. It's the truth that's been attacked. Why? Because you are being exposed, boy. So who the hell are you that you take the covenant of the Lord in your mouth, seeing that thou hatest instruction? And look at the world under your rule. Look at your bankers. All of them are small hats. All of them are 1948ers for the most part. Okay? When you go to the whole IQ, intelligence quotient fable, who's the highest on the totem pole? The small hat. Yeah, the true Israelites wouldn't be the highest on the totem pole. All right, and what this world calls intelligence. Okay, which that's all a farce any damn way. Bragging about some damn IQ, and then you ask you what it mean. Yeah. Seeing that thou hatest instruction, and you hate instruction. You don't promote the ways of righteousness through the earth. Okay? And casted my words behind thee. The true words of the scriptures you cast behind you. Okay? And you use, all right, this supremacy you set up as a means to go around forwarding pride. You're not moving and operating through the spirit of the book. It says, seeing that thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and has been partaker with adulterers, man. And evil and wicked people are forwarded here. They're uplifted. They're not, there's no stop put to evil here. You can be a complete demon and roam free in this world. The 1948ers, they've done nothing but steal, rob, kill. Okay? And Babylon the great whore, has backed them in their evil. And I would love for him to break down who's Babylon, because here it is, the Hebrew Israelites are always told, this ain't that ain't this. But then we never really get a full understanding of prophecy. Prophecy is at the forefront of the scriptures. The testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. It's always been about prophecy. But see, you've undermined prophecy and have pushed your pseudoscience, and now the gig is up. Or the jig, whatever the hell you call it. It's up. It's over. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thine tongue frameth deceit. And that's ultimately what would happen when you devils came into power, man. After you got from under your captivity at the time of, the Byzantine Empire, the Renaissance period led to what? Your tongue running through the earth. As a matter of fact, let's get that in Psalms, the 73rd chapter. Psalms, the 73rd chapter. Okay, and let's see here. There we go. Verse 6, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, and violence covered them as a garment. These people are walking around the earth as if they're just squeaky clean, pure. That's why they put that term white on them. They do a lot of undermined enchanting and witchcraft that we figured out through the Holy Spirit. Now Jacob's hand is on your heel and you're hurt. Okay, let me just jump down. It says they are corrupt, verse 8, and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Are not we reading that? He's speaking wickedly concerning oppression. They act like what happened to us is just something to undermine. I'm talking about what happened to all 12 tribes, not just so-called Negroes. All 12 tribes have underwent hell, and specifically under you devils, man. Okay, and through following your way, we've been duped into hating ourselves, destroying ourselves, and constantly looking unto you. But the remnant would do what? Turn from leaning on you for the understanding of who they are, what the true understanding of the breakdown was, your institutions, your colleges, your seminary schools. We would turn from leaning upon those things. So they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They just act as if what really happening to us is just some small thing. They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens. Right? They're against righteousness, man. They're against the natural order of things. They teach that the nationality of a child is through the mother. They're anti-Messiah. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. See, their tongue is their philosophy. Okay? So let's read this again. Psalms 50 and 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. What does it say in Revelation 13? He opened his mouth in blasphemy. All right. Against the Most High, his name, the tabernacle, the angels. You devils are something else, man. You never went into prophecy. Now, all of a sudden, everybody wants to go into prophecy and tell the Israelites they're wrong. But you never stood on your own too and went into any of these prophecies to link them to you. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Jacob and Esau are technically brothers, right? Now, they're not identical twins, right? They didn't share a placenta, all right? Two nations were in the womb of Isaac and Rebekah. However, they are brothers, right? So thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. And this article that we're talking about exudes that. And that's just one of many. And you're going to see more of them coming out of the woodworks. They're going to take it to the news. Oh, they're preparing a big narrative. They're preparing a big show. Don't get it twisted. These devils are getting ready to come with it. And if you're not rooted, you're going to be shook by it. You're going to be watching it. You're going to get scared. Your family going to be coming against you. The world going to be coming up against you. Your people at work. Right? And then they're going to start coming with these things on the TV and the news, the Israelites, and you're going to start to listen to what they're saying. And the gaslighting, as the apostle brought out, is gonna bother you. It says psychologists use the term gaslighting to refer to a specific type of manipulation where the manipulator is trying to get someone else or a group of people to question their own reality, memory, or perceptions. And it's always a serious problem, according to psychologists. And this is what these devils do. They speak half-truths. Okay, and they're watching all of the camps. And you know damn sure they're watching us. So they'll find a camp that says some outrageous things, and they'll make that the overall narrative of what the Israelites teach. They always say we're hateful. Now, when you look at the land, all right, the land that was stolen from the so-called, Palestinians from the time of the first Aliyah till, now, I mean, How was that land gotten? By hate, theft, bombing, wars. But we're the hateful ones for merely standing on our feet, all right, declare and understanding you our enemy, repenting, all right, keeping the laws to the best of our ability and preaching and standing on our feet as a great spiritual army, as the scripture said we would do. So you see that, and what do you say? Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. This is speaking to you Edomites. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Because no matter what we do as Israelites, they're going to have a problem with it. Okay? Unless you're being a complete buffoon. Then they'll back you. Then they're there to support you. But God forbid you call yourself a child of the Most High. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. See, the Lord has kept silence and allowed you to forward your BS, and that goes into the Second Thessalonians. You know, Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and 6. Okay. And that man of sin shall be revealed, verse 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, and that's this devil. And when you go outside of worshiping his way or his narrative, which you're worshiping him, he gets pissed off, man. Then you're hateful. Then you're a problem, and he's getting ready to forward that mindset over the things that he's trying to do on the earth today if you're against him. So that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, and he wants to get in the temple literally through a science, showing that he himself is God. Now, when you jump to verse 6, it says, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. So now you know why the Lord has allowed him to build. Just like Pharaoh in Egypt were allowed to build, the Lord allowed him to build in his pride. But he will be revealed in his time through the preaching of the word. He will be found out to be the one promoting the works of Satan, and he's everything. He's everything, man. He's all nations. Let him tell it. Psalms 50 and 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one of thyself. You thought you was the chosen, but I will reprove thee. You think the Most High is with you? Here it is on the Day of Atonement. The 1948er small hat is celebrating the Day of Atonement. So the Lord is going to forgive you for all the crimes and I'm talking about crimes on humanity, not just every day, the nigga robbing somebody. I'm talking about robbing nations. All right, child sacrifice, pedo, all sorts of weirdo, sick, satanic practices have been happening on the planet Earth while you are sitting there saying you're the chosen, while you have all of these people talking about they're Christians. There's been no push to establish righteousness in this earth. But here it is, you boasting on we keep the Torah with a damn small hat on. Get out of here, man. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. And this this article may be written about you. Now it's written about you Edomites, period. But this article, what story left this month? This article basically is being broken down right here in this chapter. So it says, but I will reprove thee, and you're being reproved, and set them in order before thine eyes. And he sees it. He sees us being set in order before his eyes, which is prophetic, right? What did the Lord say would happen for the Israelites? Baruch, the 2nd chapter, in the 30th verse, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves and shall know that I am the Lord their God, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. So what we've received is not from this world. It's not from the institutions and schools and ideologies that this world forward. As a matter of fact, which is what inspired me to do this video, the elder apostle Ramla brought this scripture out. All right. 1 Corinthians 2:4. And see, this is where the vocab Malone's, he comes with this great vocabulary, expressive, all right, imperial, all of the isms, all he got all of the isms, right? Exudism, wisdomism, all right, but he's dumb as a box of rocks, right? Now he knows a few things, right? But overall, when it comes to the spirit of the book, they don't have it. So when they see us bringing it out, they're like, oh, hell no. And here it is. We come lowly, okay, afflicted. Supposedly on the whole IQ charts, the bell curve and all of that. Look it all up. Esau you're making up these theories that proves why he's on the top and you're at the bottom. The reason you're on the top is prophecy, okay? And the reason we're on the bottom is prophecy. And then when we go into it, you get mad. And ultimately, you're at the forefront. You're at the front because you've had hundreds of years of free labor. Then you had all sorts of the Jim Crow laws to keep particular nations of people behind, in particular us, the Israelites. Then you make a science about why you're at the front and we're at the back. But hey, that's what you're supposed to do. And we deserved it. All right. But there's another side to that story where we wake up. Okay. And what did the Lord say? He would set us in order. All right. Right before your eyes. This is specifically speaking to you Edomites because it says that thou speaketh against thine own mother's son. All right. God, the judge of the righteous and the wicked. Say, this is a very beautiful chapter, man. And see, the Psalms are to be read in the spirit because these Psalms were, particular priest, David for the most part, singing Psalms. But when you read them, they're prophetic and they speak to the position we're in now in a lot of senses, man. 1 Corinthians 2:4, and my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom. Okay. And they laugh at us. They because, we come out there reading the Bible. Some of us are better spoken than others. Some of us, all right, are not the greatest orators, right? But guess what? The spirit and the power of what we're saying is where the power lies. Whereas in this world, it's all based upon how you look, how you sound. Does it match up with this doctrine and ideology that comes from these different schools and the understanding? Because nobody questions these people. Everybody has these different arguments against the Israelites, but nobody has ever said, well, how are they the chosen? Let's question them about some of the things they do. Nobody's walking up to them with cameras and questioning them. Everybody's questioning us. Why? Because there's a different spirit. There's something different about this word we're bringing out. It's not of this world. Okay? So y'all try to lean on man's wisdom and all of these various different, high-minded ideologies that boast themselves against the authority of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But you're losing because the spirit. So my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of men's wisdom, but in demonstration of the spirit and with power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of the Most High. See, the wisdom of men is telling you these are the chosen people and these people are Africans. All right. But prophecy and reality is saying otherwise. What is the reason we're doing this? Why are we so compelled to go out on the highways and the byways every week, do videos every day sometimes, for the most part. Certain brothers, every week, right? Just fervently doing this. Is this not tied to any form of prophecy? Howbeit, we speak wisdom among them that are perfect. All right, perfect in spirit. That's what it's all about, the spirit. See, in the flesh, we're not perfect, but in spirit, the elect are perfect, man. Howbeit, ye speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world. So the ones who are drawn unto this truth are not here for the wisdom of the world. They're here for the whole. That's what you're drawn by. The spirit, the rivers of living water that are the cleansing the filth that you thought was true out of your mind. Okay, howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. And that's what's happening. The princes of this world are coming to naught. The prince of the power of the air, the prince of this world that hath nothing in Yahushai, they're coming to naught. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which God ordained before the world unto our glory. So this is a mystery. The way that this truth is going to be presented and brought out is going to be brought out in a mystery. And what does it say? He revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Hold up. Amos 3:7, surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets, who will be raised up in the latter days. Sirach 36:15, give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning, and raise up prophets that have been in thy name, which is how our people would return to the understanding which fulfills prophecy. So the secrets in this book, okay, is ultimately not of this world, man. All right. In a mystery, we speak the wisdom of the Most High in a mystery. All right. Now that word for mystery is mysterion, a hidden thing, a secret. General mysteries, religious secrets confide only to the initiated and not to ordinary mortals. A hidden thing, a secret thing, not obvious to the understanding. So when we go to Revelation 11 and it shows that the dead bodies will be laying in a great city, that's not for a carnal man to break down of a spiritual Sodom and Egypt. They're not going to read that and get the understanding of what that means. Only one who is initiated from the foundation of the earth, one who was blessed with the secrets, okay, will understand that. A hidden purpose or counsel. Okay? The mysteries. Only we would be able to go line up on line, precept on precept, and put the true puzzle together. And then with the cold part about it, these devils, they understand particular things, but the Lord put the spirit on them to put stuff like the blue letter Bible together to where there's precepts that are on point. Let's see if we can get one from this. 1 Corinthians 2:7. Psalms 78:2. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. And see, that's what they can't get. The dark parables, the subtle parables of the Holy Scriptures, and the way that it, the English language, okay, Yiddish and all these various different things allows the devil to, on the left-hand side, to forward false narratives, man. Matthew 11:25. And at that time, Yahushua answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things. I guess he was talking to himself, right? Because Yahushua is the Most High and his son are the same person. Anyway, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent and has revealed them unto babes. Woo! Ephesians 3:5, which in other ages was not made known unto the sons of men, and now is revealed unto us, his holy apostles, by the Spirit. And where does the Spirit come from? Does it come from a library? Does it come from a college, a seminary school, a small hat rabbi, a 1948er? Hell no. Comes from on high, man. See? Let's read this in the NLT and get a few more and close out. First Corinthians 2:7. Now, no, the wisdom we speak is of the mystery of God, his plan that was previously hidden. See, they thought they had it. Even though he made it for our ultimate glory before the world began. But the rulers of this world have not understood it. If they had, they would not have crucified our glorious Lord. And he's being crucified in his spiritual Sodom in Egypt, all right, by them Xing out his ways. Okay? But then the particular Jews of that time who didn't want to accept the Messiah, those of the circumcision, okay, who were of high stature in that, you know, as being vassals to the Roman Empire, they didn't truly understand it. The secrets weren't open up to them. But that applies in this time as well, man. Well, let's go to, let's see here. 1 Corinthians 2:6. Yet, when I am among mature believers, I do speak with words of wisdom, but not the kind of wisdom that belongs to this world or to the rulers of this world. Now, if we were out on the highways and the byways speaking according to this world, there wouldn't be these articles. We still wouldn't have even heard about Deuteronomy 28:68 or the curses, which there's far more to our doctrine than the curses. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 1:18. Let's see here. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved, it is the power of the Most High. Okay. So it's foolishness unto a fool, the one who ultimately isn't opened up. For it is written, and that's, you know, what puts us in a, you know, position of difficulty. And this is a part of the straight gate. The fact that we have this knowledge, but then it's ultimately like David and Goliath, man. We, you know, it's so small, all right, yet so powerful, right? For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise and will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. And that's what's happening, man. Where's the wise? Where's the scribe? Where's the disputer of this world? Have not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? So get that in NLT. All right. 1 Corinthians 11. And 18. For the message of the cross is foolish to those who are headed to destruction. And you small hats, I keep saying hard hats, you small hats are definitely headed for destruction. And the 2/3 of our people, and you heathen, right? But we who are being saved know it's the very power of the Most High. And that's why you're here. That's why, and you feel it. As the scriptures say, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise and discards the intelligence of the intelligent. Because your intelligence is artificial. So So where does this leave the philosophers, the scholars, and the world's brilliant debaters? God has made the wisdom of this world to look foolish. Since God in his wisdom saw to it that the world would never know him through human wisdom, all right? And even starting with Israel, like these pro-black, the back to Africa, and all of these jakes who go to college, they feel like the Bible's, it's not needed. They become atheists, they become weirdos. Okay, they do everything the world says to do. Here it is, you got our people talking about now it's time to be obedient because Esau has stood up and said you need to do this. Now they want to talk about obedience, right? But the Bible is fake. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. But then as soon as the devil come up here, because you believe in the wisdom of this world and tell you have to do this, you're first in line arguing over it. The Lord simply tells you not to eat this, not to do that, not to be an adulterer, and you hate instruction. And if the true Jews were ruling right now, that wouldn't be the mindset of the people. They would be scared to do stuff like that. They'd be worried when they went off. But you uplift wicked people, man, especially when it's Jake, because you want us to remain in that dumbed down state and following after you with them stupid ass bow ties and neckties on, man. With a bald face, smiling, confused at the Christmas party with the ugly sweater on, the ugly sweater contest, big ass nigga on Instagram. You love to see that. Nigga shave his whole head, his whole face, and leave the mustache. Walking around talking about, yeah, I went to school here and eating steak raw. Trying to be like you. So the wisdom of this world doesn't know the Most High. And the breakdowns that we received as we show you here, Revelation 11:11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them. As we read in Baruch, he gave us hearts and ears to hear. Right? As the Yahweh Shah always said, for them that have ears to hear, let them hear. And it's not by our own merit we hear and believe and see. It's the Lord gave us, look at Baruch 4:31, and they shall know that I am the Lord their God, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds. Here it is, he's boasting, we've always kept the Torah. Well, the true Israelites at one point would be far away, all right, from the Torah. They would have to be brought back to that understanding through a great awakening, man. And remember the way of their fathers. He's saying they always knew it. That's the wisdom of this world. That's off. Now, just read a few more. Let me read this again. 1 Corinthians 1:20. So where does this leave the philosophers, the scholars, and the world's brilliant debaters? God has made the wisdom of this world look foolish through these beat down, Israelites who were supposed to be just dumb. Here it is, a remnant is awakening, and they're like, oh shit. Let me see. I'm going to just jump to the 25th verse. It says, the foolish. Let me go back to the King James. As a matter of fact, let me just keep reading in the NLT. It says, this foolish plan of God. This foolish plan of God is wiser than the wisest of human plans. God's weakness is stronger than the great of human strength. And who's greatest in this world in this time? Esau. But he's the end of the world. All right. And Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. Remember, dear brothers and sisters, that few of you were wise in this world's eyes and powerful or wealthy when God called you. You have a few, all right, of our people who, came from, particular situations where they, had some fame or some money. But the Lord don't give a damn about that. That's proof you're the Israelites when you come from nothing, when you ultimately are afflicted poor. So the Lord don't need the powerful or the wealthy, all right, to show his power. He shows his power more so in the lowly. Instead, God chose the things this world considers foolish in order to shame those who think they're wise. And he chose the things that are powerless to shame those who are powerful. And the small hats are the most powerful in this world. God chose the things despised by the world, and that's us, all of the tribes, man. Starting with Judah, the most hated. All right? And they hate all of the tribes, but they know Judah is the head tribe, and where we go, all of the other tribes go. So they make it a point to keep us in a negative light and at the forefront of folly and foolishness, man. Okay? God chose the things despised by this world. When you think of the rest of the tribe, you think rapist, begging for something, downtrodden, roach, lowly, bottom feeder of the earth, right? God chose things despised by the world, things counted as nothing at all, all right, and used them to bring to nothing what the world considers important. As a result, no one could ever boast in the presence of God. All right. And the Lord didn't want people to see his true prophets and, boast and be like, wow, this is, only the remnant are going to truly respect and understand through the power of the words coming out of the prophet's mouth that this is of the Most High, man. But anyway, I just wanted to speak to that. The Most High has chosen the foolish things of this world to confound what's wise in this world. So he set up, as the scriptures say, he set us in order before your eyes, calls us to remember ourselves, call on his name in the land of our captivities. Now we're preaching the true narrative of the scriptures, which didn't come from the library. It came from heaven. It came from the right-hand side of the Most High through Yahushua, through the holy angels, man, given to particular men in these latter days to preach where a remnant will be gathered and separate from your dumb ass. Because you ain't right. So we're no longer leaning up on you for the true understanding of who we are. We don't need our breakdowns to be validated by you. We go into what you say just to bring edification and laugh at you. But overall, we don't need you. See, you're used to so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans leaning on you and being validated by you. That's not happening with the remnant, which is causing friction, which they're starting to ignite. This is a declaration of war when we come into the understanding that we're Israelites, man. So anyway, man, hopefully I'll edify, man. On to the next. Shalom.